This is not a fight that just began. The fight between Damilere and Bamidele is a fight that started so many years ago. Hey guys, welcome back to Sahara Movies. My name is Lydia once again. I am back with Abejoye season 6 episode 1. Today I'm focusing on Bamidele and Damilere. These two people who are going to be the worst enemies in the next episode. If you are new to this channel, please do well to subscribe for more videos and more updates. Please, let's get started. So, the battle is now between Damilere and Bamidele. We all know Bamidele is Abejoye's son, like Baba Abejoye's son. And Baba Abejoye, we know him to be a prayerful warrior, a spiritual person, someone who is undefeated, someone who is unbeatable. So why is the son of such a powerful man facing such dangerous temptation, like such unescapable temptation? Why is it possible? So now let's go straight into it. So the history starts way back when Damilere was having marital issues because his wife was cheating with Bamidele, who was also a married woman. So it's like two married couples were having affairs, and like that's how things were going. So Damilere, who initially was on the blind side, who didn't know what was going on, found out about it later and had to tell Mr. Abejoye or Baba Abejoye about it, that his son is cheating with his wife. So, no, that approach, and they decided to involve themselves. They decided to involve the pastors, involve the elders, introduce Bamidele to more roles in the church and all that, so that it can take his mind off it. Because Bamidele's wife also discovered her husband was cheating. So, she needed to take the initiative before it gets out of hand. So that is the root source of the fight between Damilere and Bamiloye. And they say that your first love is inescapable, even though I doubt that. They have found a way to come back to each other. Before they came back to each other, Damilere was also charmed by someone else who used magic or who used spiritual force to get his marriage to be in chaos. So this woman was like a secretary to Damilere, or they worked in the same space, and she was being very seductive towards Damilere. And she actually warned Dedun, who is Damilere's wife, that if she won't let her have a slice of the cake or half of the cake, she's going to have all of the cake. Like, who does that? You come and threaten me that you snatch my husband if I don't let you share. Like, who really does that? So because she wasn't successful doing it on the lay surface, she decided to take it to a spiritual or to a different dimension. That was how come Damilere was charmed into this relationship. So after they settled the infidelity disputes between Bamidele and Dedun, that was when Dedun decided to travel all the way back from the United States to Nigeria to join her husband. But upon arriving, she discovered the husband in the same situation, like you scold me for something bad I did, and then I returned from the States, and then I realized that you are doing the same mistake that you scolded me for. Like, why? Like, how is that even possible? So that was when they don't decided to just go back to United States, because if I return home to Nigeria to be with my husband after we had a dispute, and then I come back home and then my husband is also doing the same thing, like, it wasn't very immediate, but it proceeded to Dedun finally giving up on her marriage. That was when she left to the US again. So this is the ripple effect of an action that, like, this is a ripple effect of all of the actions, because it just proceeded to the next level, proceeded to the next level, proceeded to the next level until it got here. So after Dedun left to the US, or I think on the day of leaving, simultaneously, Bamidele's wife was also on a business trip. She was always praying to get a promotion at her workplace. Like, we all have that prayer sometimes. We want to be promoted, we want to have more salaries, we want to be recognized, we want to be powerful and all of that. So she was given the promotion, or let me say her prayers was answered. And before I go into the actual story, let me chip in this here. Bamidele's wife's prayers was answered, but then she was given the opportunity to choose between her family and her work. Like that moment, sometimes we want something so much that when we get it, we don't know how to balance it with our lives. Like, and this life is all about balancing. We have to really balance our lives. So she was really going on business trips. Okay, she's going on a meeting today, on a seminar today. Meanwhile, Bamidele is home alone. I'm not saying that Bamidele is a child and can't take care of himself, but then, that's why you are my partner. At least you shouldn't be away from me for that long. Like, and the history, or the past. So Bamidele's wife really got what she expected, what she wanted. Like, life just needed to teach her that you have to know how to balance everything. When you pray for this, be willing to balance it. Or maybe you didn't really need that promotion, but then you were really desperately asking for that. So you had to be given the opportunity to have a feel of the consequences if you get that promotion. So while Bamidele's wife was on trip, he was also very bored because all of his children were also not in the country or were all in school and all that. So in single terms, or in simple terms, he was a single man. Like, he was just living a very boring single life. Go to work, come back home, there's nobody home, you watch TV, you on your phone. Like, it was a very boring one that not everyone can actually live that life. And Bamidele is no exception. So that was when temptation just walked in. Like, temptation just walked in. At that same time too, the people from the third dimension, the devils from the third dimension, were also planning against Bamidele because they were not able to get to Abejoye or Baba Abejoye. So it was just working together. Things were just working at the same time against Bamidele, and he had no idea. So as they were also planning against Bamidele because they couldn't get to Baba Abejoye, that was when Bamidele was in his highest temptation. Like, he would just fall for anything. He would just really, really fall for anything. So he was there. He received a call from Dedun that she's in the country, and you know how women can be manipulative and can be very controlling sometimes. And I want to spend the night at your place. And he tried to avoid it, or he tried to stay away. But then Dedun had everything figured out. Like, she figured out when her next flight will be, what airline she'll be traveling with, the time she'll be arriving at the airport, the time she'll be arriving home, like the hotel that she's in. Like, she did her homework. Dedun did everything. So then, Bamidele thought that, okay, let's just give it a shot. Let's just, after all, what's the worst thing? I am a single man, I'm a lonely man, so what's the worst thing that could happen? And it was that same time that the third dimension people also decided to attack. So one early morning, they show up, they shook their wrong hands, thinking that it was Bamidele's real wife. So this is the history I've given you between Damilere and Bamidele. Their history really, really is a tough one. And they haven't really had the chance to face it head on like men, like what men want to do. They want to face it man to man. You do me, I do you, like that kind of thing. They settled everything, resolved everything amicably. But then this time around, there's no way Damilere is going to let things go slowly as he did initially. So it's going to really cause a lot of chaos. Now that Dedun is still at the hospital having spiritual, they don't really know it's a spiritual thing. And they don't really know how spiritual it could be. Because if something is spiritual, why should you take it to a hospital? That's why they took Dedun to a hospital. So I think now that Bamidele has had the history of everything, like how Dedun got her hand shook by a stranger, I think the resolving will also come in. But then there's going to be a heated argument between Damilere and Bamidele, like we should all expect it, because an angry husband is to no exception. Like, it's unbeatable. I mean to say it's unstoppable. Now that Dedun's husband is very furious, or Damilere is very furious, I don't know if he could be stopped. I don't really know if he could be stopped. But let's hope for the best. I hope you liked my video on the history of how Damilere and Bamidele's fight began. Enjoy the rest of my videos as well, and I have a lot of interesting videos on Abejoye. My name is Lydia once again. If you are new to this channel, please do well to subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. Till next time, bye.